it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather shared his thoughts on the upcoming Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, saying that Davis is making his own choices and with that comes risk. Mayweather explained that he's offered advice in the past, but if it's not followed, it's out of his hands. Still, he admitted the matchup is exciting for boxing, the money involved is massive, and he'll definitely be tuning in to watch.
In my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor, clean up the mess, because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and you mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
The boxing world is ablaze with debate over the upcoming showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and analysts are split. Some dismiss the fight as nothing more than a marketing stunt, while others see it as a bold move for Tank to broaden his appeal beyond traditional boxing fans. As the conversation heats up, insiders from across the sport have weighed in, with some defending Davis's decision and others voicing concern over the direction boxing is heading.
And number 3, to retire.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do now. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, give them a phone, and they able to hide their face, yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. Would you say number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur. That he ain't gonna do him no favors. That he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett voiced his frustration over the backlash Gervonta Davis has been facing, arguing that today's fans criticize fighters for almost everything they do, often without understanding their personal circumstances. Hackett stressed that if Davis decides to fight Jake Paul, that choice deserves respect. He pointed out that no one outside the ring truly understands what a fighter is dealing with or what drives their decisions. For Hackett, boxing fans should stop trying to control who fighters face and instead appreciate the hard work and discipline it takes to stay at the elite level. His comments echo a growing sentiment among trainers and athletes who believe social media has turned boxing criticism into an endless spectacle.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate. All right, we back to the next camp. So now, marketing. Talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
The boxing world is ablaze with debate over the upcoming showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and analysts are split. Some dismiss the fight as nothing more than a marketing stunt, while others see it as a bold move for Tank to broaden his appeal beyond traditional boxing fans. As the conversation heats up, insiders from across the sport have weighed in, with some defending Davis's decision and others voicing concern over the direction boxing is heading.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalist that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you, is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta. That Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135. And there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi has never held back his opinions, and the upcoming Davis vs. Jake Paul fight is no exception. He openly criticized the matchup, arguing that boxing is losing its authenticity. According to Malignaggi, knockouts only have real value when they come from evenly matched competition, not from what he calls manufactured fights designed for spectacle. Such bouts, he claimed, mislead casual viewers into believing they're watching true contests. In a discussion with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi emphasized that while casual fans might enjoy the entertainment, serious boxing followers can see through the illusion. He warned that giving social media-driven fighters the same platform as world-class athletes blurs the line between sport and showmanship. His remarks highlight a growing divide in boxing between those who value tradition and those who embrace the sport's shift toward entertainment.
Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture
knockouts. You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists, though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
current champion.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it, the way
Felix Trinidad was
doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
But by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No, everyone was there. Everyone that was there.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of Witherspoon.
We're afraid of
with the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stuffed with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast to critics like Paulie Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult offered a more positive perspective after watching the press conference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He admitted that, at first, he was skeptical about Davis's chances due to the size and strength advantage Jake might hold. However, after seeing Davis's composure, confidence, and professionalism on stage, Showbiz changed his view. He noted that Davis carried himself like a seasoned champion who fully understood the moment's magnitude. His calm focus and sharp demeanor convinced Showbiz that Tank could adapt and overcome the physical gap. He added that the fight might surprise those who assume Jake's power will be too much for the smaller man. According to Showbiz, Davis's technical brilliance and high fight IQ could ultimately make the difference.
Yes. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about it.
I'm no cap. I know that Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened. He does feel out of element. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference, and it's like, number one, I know what y'all think. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Because Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what are you talking about?
He laughing. What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I can understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this, how I'm reacting to it. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response.
Floyd Mayweather's name has resurfaced in the headlines not as a promoter this time, but as a potential competitor. Reports suggest that Mayweather is pursuing a possible fight with Mike Tyson, and many analysts see this as more than just another payday. They believe Floyd's motivation runs deeper, a desire to remind the world that he still commands the spotlight, even in retirement, with all attention currently on the Gervonta Davis vs. Jake Paul showdown. Mayweather appears unwilling to let anyone, not even his protege, steal the limelight. Observers describe this as classic Floyd, a man driven by attention, competition, and legacy. While Davis and Paul prepare for their own spectacle, Mayweather's rumored comeback underscores a bigger truth: the ongoing battle among boxing legends to remain relevant in a rapidly evolving sports world.
Celebrities, so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. So there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute. Not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.